The meaning of Maggie, Chapter 4. Mom had become a puddle of clothes. Mom had become a puddle of clothes on the floor. She was a half eaten salad, a half read book, a half awake, half asleep zombie who got home at 6, fixed dinner at 7, put dad in bed at 8, and could barely keep her eyes open at 9. Mom never yelled at Tiffany and me to clean up our room anymore, but I wished she would because Tiffany's unmentionables were everywhere. Whoops, that was a little bouncy. Tiffany's unmentionables were everywhere, and I had to mention them because they were freaking me out. Actually, Mom never stopped me from doing anything anymore. She never stopped me from having ice cream for dessert, or dinner, or breakfast. She never checked my homework, even though there was never anything to check because I got everything right. But sometimes it was nice to hear how smart I was. But ever since she'd gone to work, Mom had become one adjective and one adjective only: tired. And honestly, I didn't understand why. I mean, yeah, she got up early and yeah, she worked all day, but she also drank coffee, which woke your brain up, which I wished I could drink. But no, that was the one thing she wouldn't let me do. And she worked at a hotel, which couldn't be that hard because there were beds to nap everywhere and famous people to do things with. If I worked there, I would have jumped up and down on the bed for a few hours. Then I'd probably hobnob with someone like Nelson Mandela, and we would order room service and solve world peace over pancakes. Then I'd help Bruce Springsteen with his luggage, and he'd ask where I was from, and I'd say I was born in the USA. And then he would tip me $500, and I'd buy more Coca Cola stock. Seriously, her job sounded more like play than work. And then came take your daughter to work day at Mom's hotel. Usually, I would have been beside myself about missing a day of school, considering I didn't even miss school when I was sick, which was seldom because I took twice the recommended daily dose of Flintstone vitamins. And even when a cold snuck past Fred and Wilma, oh, I think I missed a footnote. Nelson Mandela. This guy was on the news, and Dad said he was a good guy, so I liked him. I also liked him because his name sounded like a marshmallow in your mouth. Let's see. I would still never miss school. But this was different, and I couldn't help but get excited about going to work with Mom. I didn't give much thought to my outfit the night before. I knew I was going to spend most of the day in a cushy billion thread count robe, lounging on billion thread count sheets, eating billion chocolate count M&Ms from the mini bar. So I set out my overalls and a fancy cardigan, just in case I met someone famous. Layla said she couldn't go because she had a French test, but let's be honest, she just didn't want to miss an afternoon makeout session with Bobby. Footnote. And let's be double honest, the only French Layla knew was French kissing. Haha. So it was just Tiffany and me. Even Tiffany seemed like she was looking forward to the day with Mom. The only thing Tiffany looked forward to was prom. I swear my eyelids had just shut when our light switch flipped down and Mom called, "Rise and shine," really loudly. Tiffany moaned and pulled at her watch close to her eyeballs. 5 a.m.? I looked at Mom to give her a piece of my mind, but then I noticed something terrible. Not only was she smiling, she was also dressed and ready to go. "You can't be serious, lady." "Oh, I'm very serious, and don't call me lady." I brushed my teeth and changed my clothes, wrapped my scarf around my neck and combed my hair, or at least I thought that's what I was doing. I couldn't really tell because my eyes were still closed. I stumbled blindly into the kitchen and ran into someone I didn't expect. Layla. She was filling the coffee pot with water. I opened one eye. "Are you sleepwalking?" "I'm always up this early," she yawned. "You are?" "Yeah, how do you think Dad gets into his wheelchair every morning? Do you think he magically appears there?" Actually, I did. In fact, sometimes I thought he was faking the whole thing. Footnote 16. He wasn't. But the sun isn't even up. She let out a big sigh. "I know." While I was pouring a glass of juice, Layla lined up all of Dad's pills on the counter and put the remote next to his table. I was just about to ask her how long she'd been getting up this early when Mom came in and kissed her on the cheek. Okay, honey, don't forget to put socks on Dad before you go. His feet get cold. Does Maggie need a lunch today? Layla asked. I almost choked on my orange juice. Was this real fruit? I'm sorry. Was this why was this why real fruit had been replaced in my fruit snacks? You've been making my lunch? I opened my other eye. No lunch for Maggie. Mom reached the doorknob. We're going to get something at the hotel. Man, how long had this been going on? And more importantly, when would I get my fruit snacks back? Mom hurried Tiffany and me into the car. I nudged Tiffany. Did you know Layla helps Dad in the morning? Tiffany mumbled. I'm asleep. Did you know she makes my lunch too? Yeah, she's been doing it since Mom started working. Get a clue. Now leave me alone. I need my beauty rest. You're going to need a lot more than a half an hour, I said under my breath. Ooh, sick burn. Mom drove while Tiffany and I yawned and fought the bags pulling down our eyes. As we cruised downtown, skyscrapers scraped the sky and headlights danced in the dark, even though it was morning, not night. We inched our way closer and closer to the hotel until finally, Mom exited the freeway and we went into a deep, dark garage, down and down underneath the city above, and pulled into a parking spot between two dumpsters. Gross, Tiffany and I clung to Mom's side as she led us to the bank of elevators between the dumpsters that smelled like a cross between bad stuff and more bad stuff. When the elevator doors opened, a rush of clean cold hit us as we walked into the lobby, and a lobby that looked like it belonged in a palace far away. Mom said she usually walked in through the loading dock, but she wanted us to get the big deal picture of the big deal place where she worked. Tiffany and I couldn't stop looking up at the chandeliers dripping in what had to be real diamonds, up at plants hanging from iron baskets, down at Mom's back as she made a sudden stop and cleaned a scuff off the floor with her heel. I was just about to ask her why she was doing that when she waved us toward a door that was hidden behind a giant flower pot. Awesome! Secret passages! We spiraled down a damp and dark staircase into a damp and cold, dark hallway. Did this place have a dungeon? Cool. We passed bin after bin of dirty sheets, stained tablecloths, and towels kissed with lipstick. Tiffany held her nose to escape the smell of mildew, and I pulled my scarf in front of my face, just in case a goblin attacked me. We followed a loud rumble as the air got hotter and hotter. Oh my God, maybe we're going to see a dragon. 17. What dragons could technically exist? They're just like dinosaurs, only they breathe fire and fly and live in medieval castles. Okay, well, maybe they couldn't exist. We turned the corner and closed my eyes, too scared to see a mythical lizard. When I opened them, there was no giant creature, just row after row of giant washing machines and dryers. Where were we? Mom scooted past a giant iron and giant gallons of detergent into a tiny room with no windows. She pulled open a cabinet door, put her purse inside, and locked it. Well, what do you think? What do I think? How about where in the HE double hockey sticks are we? I turned around and tried to take it all in. There were concrete floors and seafoam green walls. There were ancient filing cabinets and a box filled with tiny soaps and bottles. Tiffany pocketed a couple tiny lotions, and I sat down in Mom's chair and started to spin. When I came to a stop, I saw a blur of my family in picture frames. There was Tiffany's dance team photo, Layla in a tutu and toe shoes, and me sleeping in a laundry basket, complete with thumb and mouth. Embarrassing. I turned that picture around and picked up a seashell from a jar. I held it to my ear and listened for the ocean. Mom picked up the one next to it. This one sounds like South Carolina. It's from our trip last year, remember? I nodded yes and reached for another. That's from the Outer Banks. And this one's from Savannah. She had an entire collection of shells and sand from all the beaches we had visited. an entire coastline of memories in mason jars. I looked over at Tiffany, who was inspecting her nail polish for chips. Was she not wondering what I was wondering? Why did our mom work in this scary place? So, when do we get to see famous people? Tiffany asked. It was the smartest thing she'd ever said. Mom grabbed a keychain with a billion keys on it from her desk drawer. No famous people today. There's a teacher convention in town, so we'll be dealing with them mostly. Teachers? Tiffany looked disgusted. The one day I get to skip school and I have to spend it with teachers? Gross. Even grosser, we weren't spending the day with teachers. We were spending the day cleaning their messes. I imagined it was going to be a lot of broken chalk and rotting apples. We walked back into the laundry dungeon where Mom dropped us off with a guy named Jesus. He wasn't the real Jesus. His name was pronounced Jesus, which I thought was funny because Zeus was a completely different god altogether. I didn't think he could turn water into wine, but he did use water to get wine stain out of a tablecloth. And maybe it wasn't a miracle, but it was impressive. He pushed a towel bin our way and pointed to a huge washing machine. These go in there. On towel 5, I was already exhausted. Excuse me, sir. How many of these do we have to put in there? Jesus laughed. Oh, just about 500 more. You've got to be kidding me. Jesus wasn't kidding. I proposed a plan. I vote we give up. No way, Mom will just give us more to do. You're right. Tiffany looked surprised. I know it sounded weird when I said it. We pulled up our bootstraps and did our best, even though I felt like my arms were going to fall off. When Mom finally returned and said it was time to go upstairs, we reeked of Tide and sweat. Phew! I was glad that was over. Mom took us up a secret elevator through a secret door to a room called the Presidential Suite. But there was nothing presidential about it. No Oval Office, no tour with tourists, no Secret Service. Mom said really rich people stayed there. And from what I could see, these people were slobs with a capital SLOBS. Tiffany and I rolled up our cardigan sleeves and gathered all the giant sheets from the giant bed while Mom piled dishes on top of one another. You do this every day? Tiffany asked. Every single day, Mom said. Tiffany washed windows and I collected all the towels from the bathroom floor. One had a stain that looked like 2 bats, and I threw it back at the floor, praying I hadn't caught flesh-eating bacteria. Can we please stop? Tiffany begged. I've broken like 30 nails. My eyes rolled. You only have 20 nails. Mom checked her watch. Well, it's lunchtime. Yes, I loved lunchtime. We breezed into the hotel restaurant where prime rib sizzled and banana pudding was piled in heaps. Even the vegetables looked good. I reached for a plate from the giant stack and plotted my plan of attack, but suddenly my mission was diverted when Mom put the plate back on the stack. This food is for the guests, Maggie. We're going to the cafeteria. Cafeteria? What kind of sick joke was this? We passed through another secret door into a big scary room that smelled like mashed potatoes and Windex. Mom told us that we get whatever we wanted, which for the first time did not sound appetizing. I found a box of cereal and a carton of milk that looked safe. Tiffany grabbed a bruised banana and the only granola bar not covered in chocolate because she thinks chocolate gives you zits, even though I knew that was a myth. 18. Jesus, please let it be a myth. Oh, hey, Zeus. Funny. We sat next to a gaggle of ladies lost in a blur of Spanish. Mom chatted with them in Spanish that I didn't even know she knew. I concentrated on my cereal, not wanting them to know they lost me at hola, which wasn't my fault. I blame the public school system. Anyway, one lady named Maria pointed at Tiffany and cooed, muy bonita, which made Tiffany smile, her toothy beauty queen smile. And another lady mumbled something to me before I could muster a, okay? My mom interrupted, well, she looks just like her father. Man, where was Jesus when you needed him? Probably still downstairs folding towels. After lunch, we went back to the lobby to check on the giant plants in the giant baskets. His mom snapped a yellow leaf off a vine. A tall guy with a fancy suit and shiny shoes tapped her on the shoulder. Finally, a famous person. Who was this guy? Maybe a president or an Olympian? One of those TV priests? Mom straightened her jacket and greeted him. Oh, hi, Mr. Grant. Girls, this is Mr. Grant, my boss. Okay, not famous, but he was still kind of a big deal. So I curtsied. 19. I don't know why I curtsied. Mr. Grant took my hand and shook my whole body. You know your mother is a real go-getter, girls. She's one of our best. She'll make her way to supervisor in no time. She really keeps this place running like a well-oiled machine. She did? What did she know about machines? This was the same lady who, when the hot water stopped working in the bathroom, said to just use cold water. And when we protested, she told us cold water was better for our complexions, which Layla and Tiffany believed, but I didn't because I'm not an idiot. How did she do so much? And then I figured it out. Mom was a mom to all of these people. And being a mom is what mom did best. She made all of their beds, cleaned all of their dishes, and made sure their days and nights were tidy and perfect. No wonder she was tired all the time and kept seashells at her desk. She probably just wanted to be reminded that somewhere there was sand she could sink her toes into. Somewhere out there she wouldn't have to clean scuffs off of marble floor. Couldn't catch flesh-eating bacteria from a towel. On the car ride home, I fought sleep with thoughts of everything Mom did without exploding. I mean, spontaneous combustion is a real thing because it's in the dictionary. How did she do so much? And then I had a thought. Maybe she was powered by all of her freckles. Mom was covered in freckles from head to toe. Maybe each one gave her energy to do every single thing she had to do. Maybe each one was a dish done, a towel folded, a dinner made. Maybe the one clustered by her heart were for Layla, Dad, and me, and maybe even Tiffany. Maybe every cluster was like a constellation that powered through her one big deal to the next. As we walked inside, I grabbed Mom's hand. I was going to tell her thank you. I was going to tell her I loved her, but I didn't, because when we walked in the door, Dad was lying on the floor. Oh man, that's the end of the chapter? Dad's on the floor?